Good everyone, my name is Graphics. Today we want to study an aspect of engineering drawing, which is assembly drawing. Now we are told to assemble a pulley. Now what you see in your front of the screen is the exploded diagram, where we are told to bring together all the component parts because it has been dismantled. The first thing you have to do is for you to write out the part list, so you will know what is available and how you are going to fix them together. So the first thing we have to do, we have to draw out the part list. Now we are to put this on the part list, like I said, right? So you open the table this way. Now this is the serial number, meaning the number of the component part that is present. Now if you look at it very well, let's see the component parts. All these are the brackets, right? That is one component. I'm going to write it on the part name as the bracket. So that is the bracket. Then the material that is made of. The bracket is made up of what? Cast iron. Let's see. Made up of what? The cast iron. So I'm going to put the material there as a cast iron. That is the cast iron, or you can just put your CI if you want to. Now the quantity, the amount of quantity present. Let's see. Here we're told it has one off. That means we only have one of it. Right? So the bracket is just one of it. So right here, one off. The other material that we have again, since the one off here, so the next material we have again, you can see we have the pin, right? The next material is the pin. So I'm going to write the pin. The pin is made up of what? Mild steel, and it's also what? One off. So I'm going to include that. So the material is mild steel, and it's also what? One off. So the next one we have here is, let's see, we have what is called the bush. And the bush is made up of what? Bronze. And how many can we find here? Means two of, there are two bush that we have here, right? So we have the bush. So this is what we have, the bush. The material is bronze, and the quantity is what? Is 2 of. So the bush is made of bronze. Then the next one that we have again here should be the pulley, that is made of what? Cast iron, and it's just one of them. The next one is the pulley. So that's one of the pulley. Now the next one we have here, if you look at what we're told here, is that, let's zoom and see, we're told that all required one of hexagonal nuts. So we have hexagonal nuts, also one of it. So hexagonal nuts. What we have, the hexagonal nuts is mild steel, and it's one of. So these are the part name, the materials, and the quantity that is available. Now the next thing after doing this is for you to now assemble them. Now if you look at this, like I said earlier, this symbol here, this symbol here is already telling me that it's in third angle projection, right? That means this guy on this point here is our plan. So we'll first of all start by drawing this guy, first of all, and we introduce all the component parts. So the first thing you have to do, first of all, draw this projection first. Then you start putting in your component parts. So let's start that and see. Now we have to draw this first of all. So let's start. So the first thing we do is to draw this, right? Now if you look at this very well, we are not given the distance from here to here. So you check here, right? You see that from this point to this point is 140, because 70 plus 70 is 140. Now if you look at this here, it's diameter 30. So if you divide diameter 30 by 2, you'll be having 15. Right? Here also divide diameter 30 by 2, you'll be having 15. So 15 plus 15 is 30. 30 plus 70 is 100. 100 plus 70 is 170. So the entire length from here to this point here is 170. So we'll do that. First of all, draw a line of 170. So let's do that. So I'll just take my set square, my T-square. I will draw an horizontal line, right, like this. There's my rule here. I'll mark a point. I'll start from 1. So starting from 1 means 1 is 0. So from 1 to 18 is 170. You count them 10 by 10 each. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, and 70. Right? So I'm having those 2 points. Now, if you look at this here, it is thickened, right? So I am going to thicken it also to show that I'm starting from that point. So from here, I'm going to thicken this point here, from here, and I'll stop at this point here. Right? You have that. Now the next thing, if you look at this also from our measurement, from here to here is not given. Right? Let me zoom it so you see what I'm actually talking about. From here to here is not given, but it's the same figure for everything, right? This is the same figure that is placed in your orthographic projection. So distance from here to here is the same thing as from here to here, which is this, and that is how many? That is 15, right? So I'm going to measure that distance here to be what? 15. So I'll come here with the help of my, let me zoom this down a little bit. So with the help of my T-square and set square, I'm going to draw an horizontal line this way, the vertical line this way, and I'll come here also. I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to measure 15. So let's measure the 15. So I'm starting from 5. Right? So I start from 5. So this is 5, this is 10, and this point here is 15. So that means that 15 line, I'm going to what? Thicken it. So in thickening that line, I'll be having this way. Right? And I'll close it up. And I'll close it up too. So in doing that, I've gotten this thickness here. Now if you look at this very well, the height from here to here, I'll call it the width here, right? Which is sending us from here to here. Is that taken? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure it. So in measuring it, from here to here is giving us 80, right? And 80 plus diameter of here to here is 40. Half of 40 is 20. So 20 plus 80 is 100. Knowing fully well that it's starting from here, 100, right? From this point here. Now here, from here to this point here also is what? Is 100. So I'll measure 100 upward. So let's do that and measure 100 upward. So I'm measuring the 100 upward. Just take your horizontal line, which is a vertical line here, and I'm going to measure 100. So I'll start from 11, right? So from 11 to 1 is 100, and I'm going to close it up with your T-square. Just to form close box. So I'm closing it up. Now this is what we have here. right? Now if you still look at the diagram again, we discover that the middle of this, we're going to get the center of this. We are going to measure 40 to the left and 40 to the right. So we get the center of this first of all. So the center of 170 will be 85. So I'm going to measure 85. So from this point, this is 85 here, right? So I'll take my set square and t-square. I'll take this upward. So this is my center line here. Those are the center there, right? Now the next thing I'm going to do here is that I'll use my meter rule. If you look at this very well, you're going to measure from the center here, this point here, which is this point here. Let me show you. Which is this point here. I'm going to measure from here to here is 40, and again I'll watch another 40. So let's do that. 40 and 40. Now your meter rule, you measure 40. This is from 0 to 4 is 40, right? So I'm going to place it at this point here. I'll mark 40 and what? And 40. And I'll take my set square. I'll rule it straight down. I'll roll it straight down this way. Just with my thin line first. I'll do the same thing here also. I'll roll it straight down. That is the 40. Right? And if you look at it again, after that 40, I can say 40 plus 16 is what? 56. So I'll measure 56 and I'll measure it left and right. That is 56. So measure 56. From 0, this is 56 here. Right? So I'm going to place it at this point here. I'll measure this is 56. And this is also what? 56. Right? Now I'll use my set square and I'm going to rule it straight down. I'll rule it straight down from this point, straight down, thin line, and also this one also, I'll rule it straight down, thin line. Right? So I've done that. Now the next thing I'm going to do is, after doing that, if you look at this now, the distance from here to here, first of all we need to get the center of this. So how are we going to do that? Now if you look at this very well, we are talking about this distance here is same as this distance here. So from this point to the center here is 80, so automatically from this point to this center here is what? 80 also. So I'm going to measure my 80 to get that center point here. So I'll place it at this point here, this distance here, right, this end here, and I'm going to measure 80, and this is 80 here, and that is the center point, and I'll use my set square and I'll rule a straight line using center line to represent it. Now, if you look at what I've done, I've just drawn the center line, right? So if you look at this very well, you discover that from this center here, we don't know the thickness from here to here, right? Let me show you the thickness from here to here, and from here to here is the diameter of this one here, and that is what? 40. So I'm going to measure from the center line, I'll measure 20 up and 20 down. So from this center line here, this point, right? From this point, I'll measure 20 up, 20 down. So on my meter rule, I'll measure the radius of that 40, which is 20, right? 20, right? and I'm going to measure 20 up, 20 down. Start taking. That is the 40 there. Right? Now I'll now take my meter rule and I'm going to measure that. As in, I'm going to close it up. So if you roll that, you also roll this point here too. Right? Now you see what I have done here. Now the next thing is, I'll do this is ticking this, because if you look at our diagram here, from here, all these points here are all tickened. All these points here are all tickened. So I'm going to ticken it. So in tickening them, I will have this. Taking this to this. I also taking this to this. And I'll take in here also. We just copying what we see and we are pasting. And I'll close here too. And closing it, I'll have this. So this is one we do. Now if you look at the diagram again, from this point here, right? So we are going to measure from here to here. It's giving us what, 6, and from here to here it's giving us what, 3. So let's first of all measure this 6 out of it first. So measure the 6 out of it first. So from this point, from 0 is 6 here. So I'll use my T-square to just show the thickness here, like this. Right, then the next one should be, now if you look at this point here, let me zoom it up so we see what we're talking about. From this point here, see that from this ending here is 3 millimeter, right? So likewise here also is 3 millimeter, right? So this ending also is 3 millimeter. So at the ending other side is what, 3 millimeter. So I'm going to measure 3 millimeter inward here. So this is what I'll do here. At this point, I'll measure 3 millimeter inward here. From here 0, right? I'll measure 3 is 0, 1, 2, 3 is 3 millimeter. I also did at this ending too. I'll start from 10. I'll measure 0, 1, 2, 3. So this is 3 millimeter. So that is 1. Then the other one again, if you look at it again, at this point here is 5 millimeter. Right, so it means the distance from here to here is 5. Likewise, from here to here is also what, 5. So the inward side is 5. So from this point, I'm going to measure 5. So this from here to here is 5. And I'm starting from 6 here. From 6 to here is 5. So I'm going to use my set square and T-square to rule this inward like this. So I'm going to rule with my set square and T-square, touching the center point. That's front line, touch here, and front line to touch here. Come here also, the front line also, touch here, and the front line to here to what? To touch here. All good? Now that is what's replicating what we have there. So we've done to this center line here. That's why I'm drawing it up to the center line here. Now the next thing is, from here to here is 3 millimeter. Let me show you. The thickness between this line you draw here to here, this line here is this line here, right? Then the next one is what? 3 millimeter. So from this line, I'll measure 3 millimeter inward. So I'll do that. Measure 3 millimeter inward. So from 2 is 2, this is 1, 2, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 3 millimeter inward. Right? Here also I'll measure 3 millimeter inward. 0, 1, 2, this is 3 here. Inward. Right? So that is the line I am going to draw there. There is the line I'm going to draw. So take note of this line I'm drawing now. And take note of this line I'm also drawing here. So this point here, this line I'm drawing meets the horizontal line 6. Is where they meet. But we are given that the radius of that line is what? 10. So do what I'll do. I'll take my meter rule and I'm going to measure 10. Right? So from 0 to 1 is 10. You can see that. And I'm going to place it at this point. I'm going to mark horizontal, vertical. Right? Also here I will mark horizontal, vertical. With the same radius, place it here. I will strike an arc. Also place it here also. I'll strike another arc. I'll come here, same radius, place it here, strike an arc. With the same radius here, place it here also. I'm going to what? Strike another arc. So where they meet, I'll put it at that point. And I'm going to draw the line that will connect both of them. Can you see that? I'll place it here also. I'll draw a line that will connect both of them. That again, both of them. So I'm going to join from here to here with my meter rule. Can you see that? And I'll do the same thing up to this point here. I'm going to do the same thing here. So the next one is, if you look at this guy here at the center, I'll draw it to touch the base, these two here. So I'm going to draw it from here, these two center points here. I'll draw a line from here to touch the base here, to touch here, and this one too. I'll draw a line to touch there. That again. Then the other one is drawn from here to touch this, and the other one here also, this is drawn from here to touch this. Right? So this from this point, I'll draw it to touch the base, and this also I'll draw it to touch the base. Now why am I doing that? Because from this point, that is what is being done. I'm just copying and what? I'm pasting. So I will draw this to touch here, and I'll draw it to touch here. The same thing with the two of them. So let me do that. I can easily use my rule. I'll draw here to touch here. I'll draw here to touch here. Also, same thing here too. Same thing here too. Now, if you look what is being written here, we're told that an unspecified radius should be what? 3 millimeter. So since the radius of here is not specified, I can actually use 3 millimeter. So you can just assume and just draw your arc there, since it is very small. You come here also, we do the same thing. Come here and do the same thing. Right? So now, if you look at this diagram very well, you discover that there is a web here, and the distance of the web where it starts from is 18 and where it ends is 25 from the center. So I'll measure 25 from the center and I'll measure 18 from the beginning here. So let's all measure the 18 first. So if I measure the 18 first from this point, I'll measure 18 from, this is 18, this 10, this 18 here, right? This is where we're targeting. Then from the center, I'm going to measure 25. So this is 25 from here to this point here. All together. So that is where I'm going to draw my line. So I'll just connect both of them together. From this point to this point, I'll draw a line this way. You can see that. And I'm going to do the same thing too. The same thing I did here, I'll replicate it here. So I can use my T-square to trace the point here. And I can use my compass here to measure the distance from here to here. Right? And just place it here. And I'll just join them together. Join them together. I'm going to be having this to this point. So now, if you look at this, I have successfully drawn out this shape out. Right? I have drawn out that shape out. So the next thing for me to do is to start putting my component parts. Now, if you look at this now, I have a wheel. How will I know where this wheel is placed? Now, if you look at this wheel here, it is here given as what? From here to here is what? Is 70. Right? So that means here is 40. Right? Diameter 40. If you look at the diameter 40 here, this point here too, diameter as well is 40. And this point here is this point here. So it means that this will be placed here. Right? So from the center here, and the total wheel, the diameter, they said the PCD is 64 PCD. That means P circle diameter. Right? So what I'm going to do here is the diameter of this circle here is 100. Right? So that means with the center, I'm going to mark 50 up, 50 down. So I'll take my compass and my meter rule. I'll measure diameter of 100, which is radius is 50. And I'll measure it this way, 50 this way. Right? This 50, and I'll come and place it at this point here. And I'm going to measure from the center of this point. I'll measure 50 down, and I also measure 50 up. Right? I'll measure 50 up. So let's see. I'm going to measure 50 up, which is here. Is that again? So from that point, I'm going to use my set square, my T-square. I'll just elongate this a little bit. You can see that. And I'll come here also. I'm going to elongate here a little bit. Just so that to not touch the. Let's do it this way. You can see that. Now, if you're looking at that again, and here we are told also that the thickness of this is what? Is 70. I'm going to measure 35 to the left and 35 to the right. So that means 35 to the left, 35 to the right, to show that is the thickness. So I'll come here, I'll measure 35 here, 35 which is saying 70, and I'll place it at the center here. I'll measure 35 to the left and 35 to the right. So I'll take my set square, and I'm going to just connect this point together with my faint line first. This to this, and this to this. So this is what we have here, first of all. Now in doing that, the next thing we are going to do is this. we are supposed to leave it as a thickened line this way, right? But because of it is sectioned, look at this diagram, it is sectioned, so we need to draw everything that we find in this place. So from here, if you discover what we have here, we are given that there's another one called 64. So after the 70, I'm going to measure 64, that is 32 each. So let's it here this way. And I'm going to measure 32 here, both left and right. So let's at this point, I'll measure 32, right? And I'll also measure 32. So I've done that. So the next thing is I'll just rule my line up. So I'll rule it, my faint line. I'll come here also, I'll rule this with also my faint line. Now if you look at the diagram that we have here again, discover that we're told from here to here is 5, right? So I'm going to measure 5 at the center line. So I'll measure 5 from this point, 0 to the center here is 5, and I'll do the same thing here too. So I'll measure 5 too. This is right here. Right, so from here, what I'm going to do here again is this. I'll just rule a line at that point, just a little line this way, and I'll come to the other point too. I'm going to do the same thing, rule a little line this way, right? Now if you look at this, the thickness of this point here is 12. Look at it. The thickness of this point here is 12, right? So I'll measure to that is 6 to the left, 6 to the right. So 6 to the left, 6 to the right. So you take your meter rule, you measure 6. So I'll place it here. I'm going to mark 6 to the left, and also I'll mark what? 6 to the right. I'll come here, so I'll use my set square and just transfer those points to this point instead of measuring them again. Transfer this point to this point. So I can just rule this way, just a little, and also this way, also a little. So what will I do from this point? I'm going to draw a line. Just look at this line very well. We'll draw a line from this point, which is this point, right, to that 5, and also the same this point to this point, right? So we'll draw a line to the 5, and also draw from here also to the 5. So let's do that and see. I'm going to place it from here to the 5. And also from here to the 5 too. Right? And I'm going to thicken this point too. So I'll come here also and do the same thing from here to the 5. And from here to the 5. Right, so I'm going to thicken here too. Now if you look at this also, this thickness here is 24 and its diameter. So you measure 24 up and measure 12 up and 12 down to get this through here, right? So 12 up and 12 down. So I'm going to place my compass to measure 12 from 0 to this point here is 12, right? So I'm going to measure 12 up, 12 down, and with the help of my set square, my T-square, I'll just draw a line this way. First of all, faint line, and also here I'll draw another faint line, right? So in doing that, I'll have this. So just close it up first at this point. This 40 that I have here will come from here and it will end here, and here also to end here, and this all through to this point, right? All through to this point. And also this is all through to this point. And this is also to this point. So I'm just copying what I'm seeing there. So I'll just close it up, and I'll close it up also. Right, the same thing here too, and the same thing here too. Right, and here I'll close it up at this point. And here also. Just close this point up. Then I'll bring this down. Well, this is all we have, so we're going to section it and see. So what we have here, after drawing all that, what we have here, there's a demarcation here, and the demarcation is this through this pipe that we have. So when you section it, this is what you have. So we section this block into two, right? So we said that 6 holes, there are 6 of them, and 16 diameter equispace, right? So that means 16 diameter. I'll use 8 up, 8 down for this point. So first of all, I'll get the center, then I'll mark 8 up and 8 down. So the distance from this point to this point is 30, or you can bisect it. So if you measure 30, the center of 30 is 15, right? So that will be the center. So I'm going to just take my compass, right? I'm going to measure 8 up and 8 down. 8 edges of 8 up and 8 down. So placing it this way, I'll place it at this point, I'll mark 8 up and I'll mark 8 down, right? So in doing that, I'll just take my meter rule and I'll just close it up, and I'll come here also, I'll do the same thing, and I'll close it up too. You can see that? So I'll come here also, I'll do the same thing, since it is, place it here and I'll come here and I'll mark. So at this point, from here to here is 8 up, 8 down, repeating the same thing. I'll mark up and I'll mark down. So with the help of my T-square, so I'll just trace the point and close it up, and I'll place it here also, and I'll place it up. Right? So this is what we have. So now section it using my 45-degree set square to do that. So with the help of this, I'm going to section it. So in sectioning it, just 45 degree, I'm going to section everything that I have here. So we have this way, right? So I have this, you can section that. Now, so using a 45 degree, you have this, so place this in between this, right? Now the next thing is, for this pulley, this wheel to stay in between here, it must be connected with something, and which is this, what? This pin. Now if you look at this pin that we have here, how we know is the pin? If you look at it, the thickness of this pin is 20, diameter of 20 millimeter, right? And when it is passing through here is also what? Is 20. So if you compare the 20 of this and 20 of this, means that this is entering, is passing through this and entering through here also. All together now. So let's see how that will go. So first of all, let's see the length of this. Now if I place this, I'll start from here. This is the head here. So the distance from here to here, given as what? Diameter of 35. So I'm going to measure 17.5 to the left and 17.5 to the right. Right? So let me do that and see. This is the plan, looking at it at this side. So 17.5 to the left and 17.5 to the right. So let's do that and see. So it will be at this point. So I'm going to take my compass and I'll measure 17.5. This is 15, 16, 17.5, somewhere around here, right? And I will place it at the center here, and I'll mark 17.5 and also 17.5, and I'll take my set square, my T-square, and I'm going to extend it a little bit. Now coming also, I'm going to extend it a little bit, right? Now if you look at it very well, we are told that from here to here is 16. Let's zoom back and see. So from this point to this point is 16. So I'm going to measure my 16. So from here, I will measure 16. So this is 16 here, right? And I'm going to close it up with my faint line. Now if you look at it very well, if from this point to this point is, then we have what is called diameter of 25. 25 minus 35 is 10, so it means that from here to here is 10, and from here to here is also what? 10. So measure this, which will give me, that is 5. From here to here I'll measure 5. And from here to here also I'll measure 5. So I'll use my T-square to close it up, right? So I'll just bring it down small, a different line. I'll come here also, I'll do the same thing here too, a different line. Now if you look at the diagram here again, it says I'll take it 10 inward, right? The counter sunk 10 inward, so I'll take it 10 inward. So from here, this 2 to 1 is 10, and I'm going to close it up with this. So I'm closing it up, I'll be having something like this. I'll close it up too. Close it up too. Right, and I'll come here also. Close it up. Close it up. That and that. Right. So I have brought out this already. I have brought out this already. So if you look at this, I'll now measure 20, which is the thickness I have. So I'll measure 20, that is 10 up, 10 down, to a distance of 32 minus 130, that is 100 and what? That will be 98, right? 32 minus 130 is 98. So mark 20 times 10 up. First of all, let's do that first. So I use my compass. I'm going to measure 20 times 10 up and down. So if I place it here, I'll mark 10 up and what? 10 down. Is that okay? So I'm going to push it in this point. By pushing it in this point, I'll just place it this way first of all, and I'll push it this way first of all, together with this also. Right? So that is what I'm going to do. Every time. Now from here, after taking that thing there, so what I'll do next is I should be able to even extend it out here at this point, and also at this point, because it is extended, because the entire length is 130 from the base of this, right? So from the base of this 130, so let's see that 130, this is 13 here, so to this point, this is where 130 stops, so that is where it's stopping, right? So to stop at this point, stop at this point. Now let's see what's happening next. So from here, now the next component part, to avoid this wheel from wobbling, from shaking, something we call a bush, right? This is a bush here. This is the bush here, right? But it's given that from here to here is 24. And if you look at your main diagram where 24 is in the wheel. That means this 24 here, this 24 here is entering here. Is entering into this place with a distance of what? 25, right? And 3 millimeter outward. So I'll put that bushing to enter there. 25 millimeter inward. So I'll come here, the bushing will be 25 millimeter inward here, from here to here. So let me just take it down. This is from 6 to 0, 10, 20, 25 at this point. Also here also, and see there are two. So one coming from the right and one coming from the left. So this is 20, 25. And I'll just close it up here. Just with my fake line first of all. Then the thickness here, the height of the bushing is just the height of 40, the diameter is 40. So here is 40, here is 40, and here is 40. But the thickness is what? 3 millimeters. So from here, I'm going to measure 3 millimeters from this point. So this is this point. So I'll have 1, 2, 3 at this point. Then here also 0, 1, 2, 3 at this point also. Right? So I'll just draw a straight line. Then I'll just close it up on this point. Let's stop here. And also from here to stop here. So this is not touching the main diagram. So I'll just, right? So I'm doing that. I'll just close it up. I'll close it up. And I'll also close it up too. And I'll close it up too. And here also. So it's not touching the main bracket to avoid it to be able to spin easily. So now this nut will pass in, this bolt will pass in. So the bolt will be passing in. Then fully aware that you cannot section a bolt on a nut. So this will just here and what? And here. So I can just bring it in. So this is the section through. and since it is section 2 to that point, right? So now since we've done that, we know the entire length of this is 130, which we've measured, but from here to here is 32 minus 130 is 98. So if you measure 98 will move from this point to this point is 98. So the remaining 32, which is this, we are going to measure the remaining 32, right? So 32 will be from here. So will be from here. This is where 98 will be. From here is where it starts from to this point is 98. Then the remaining 32 should be at this point here. Right, so this is 32. So 32 starts from here. So in that 32 now, if you remove 22 from 32, what will happen? We have 22. This is 22 here, stops here. Then the remaining one is just up. So what we're simply going to do is to draw a bolt. Right, we've drawn the pin, so we need a what? A knot, a hexagonal knot that will use and screw the pin so that it will be tightened, fastened. Right. So first of all, for you to draw that, you extend this. So at the end of this point here, you draw a circle. Now, how we draw that circle? From here, you see what is being written down here? We are told that the diameter is 16 and the pitch is 2. Right? And this is the tolerance here. So we need 16 diameter of the what? Of the knot. And it's an hexagonal knot. So this is 16. What will you do? You multiply 16 by 1.5 and what will you get? That will be 24. Right? So I will measure 24 on my meter rule. That is 12. So this is 12, right? And I'll measure it on my meter rule somewhere around here, right? And I'll have this way. Let's see, yes, somewhere around there should do the trick. And I'm going to draw a faint line as a circle. You can see that. And I'm going to use my across flaps to do what I want to do. So if you watch my video on how to draw hexagonal knots, which you can click on the link above here, then you're going to see that. So I will use my 60-degree set square. I'll place it that way, and I will ensure that this is what I'll be having. So placing it here, I'm going to use my rule. And I'll draw this way. I'll come here also, across flat method in terms of hexagon. I'll draw this way, right? And I'll turn it the other way too. And I'll do the same thing here. I'll come here too. I'll do the same thing here. So in doing that, I'll close here up. So in closing here up, I'll have this way. And I'm going to have this way. Right? So all those points, end of this point, I'm going to project them downward to touch this. So project all this downward to touch this. Project this too downward to touch this. I'll project this too to touch this. I'll project this too to touch this. And also project the circumference of the circle. So the circumference of the circle is this. And the circumference of the circle here, which is this. So Now in doing that, for me to get the thickness of the knot, I'm going to multiply the diameter 16 times 1.5 times 0.8. Yes, that'll give me 12.8. So I'm going to measure 12.8 here. So from here, this is 10, right? 11, 12.8. Let me see, 13 will be here. So I'll close it up. So what I'm going to do, from the second straight down to the second to the last, what we have here, from the second line to the second to the last line, right? Now if I did this way, I'm going to draw this way. As in the chamfered, I chamfered it here. You can watch the video on this, then you get to understand it better. So turn it here. Now do this too. So close it up. Now I'm going to close it up too. Right. So with the help of my compass, I'll place the compass at this base here. You take it to the second line and you draw a semicircle with the same radius. This is at where it intersect at this point. Then you draw another semicircle that will cut it this way. So they are meeting at this point here, right? So from here you can use the radius to draw your arc here this way to get this. And you come here also, you do the same thing. Get this. And you place it at this point here. And you extend it to that center point here, this point. And you get this. So you repeat the same process at this point too. You place it at the center point here, and you take it to the second line here, and you draw a semicircle where it meets here with the same radius. You do the same thing. They cut here. So where they meet, they're meeting, intersect at this point, and at this point here. So at this point here, you place it here and you get this guy. Place it here, you get this. And you place it here, you get this. So this is what you will be having after you finish drawing that. You just join from here to here, and you join from here to here. Now the other aspect is it will just come out, which is this. What is says this M16 by 2, right? So you just take half of it, which is, when you're doing that, you just take this other part here, which is this, and you take it up, and here also you take it up, and Let's get this other guy here. Now, after you've done that, we are done with this. That is the elevation, the plan of the pulley. Now the next thing we should be trying to draw now should be this, which is the front elevation. So when you do this, what you do with this is this. We are going to project all the lines. Now this is what we have here. This is the elevation, the plan, right? I want to draw the elevation, which is this. So what you do is you are going to take your first square and your t-square, right? And you project this downward. You project all those lines downward. So let's do that and see. So every line I have here, I'll project it downward this way. Right, this is the first one. Then I'll go to the last one too. I'll project it down too. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Right? So what I'm going to do again here is I will just draw a line to just show the demarcation of it. I'll just draw a line this way. You can see that. So now let's see what will happen. So from here to here is from here the end of here to here, but here is filled, right? So what we'll do, how we're going to know the height from here to here? It's as simple as this. From here to here is 58 plus 32 plus 15. So from here to here is 15. The radius is 15 since diameter is 30, right? So let's see. So if you add the diameter of here is 30, so 15 from this side to this side, and also 15 from this side to this side. So that means 15 plus 15 is 30. 30 plus 32 plus 58 will give us 120. So we'll go back and measure the 120. Right? So let's measure the 120. So from here downward, we measure 120. So using my meter rule, we're going to measure 120. So from 0 to 12 is 120. After that, from 0 to 12 is 120. So I'm going to do that now, and I'll close it up. And close it up. Now let's go back and zoom it to have a more clear view. So this is the four corners that we just got, that was set from here to this point is 120. What do you notice? It is what? It is filled here with diameter of how many? We have diameter of 30, right? So you take the radius of 15, 15 on your meter rule, 15, 15 on the meter rule. So from 0 to this point is 15, right? And I'll place it at this point. I'm going to mark 15 here, and I'll mark 15 here, right? And I'll place it at this point. I will strike an arc, and I'll place it at this point also. I'll also strike an arc. So where they meet without adjusting my compass, I'll place it here, and I'm going to get this. This is what we have here, right? So the next thing too, I'll look at this corner too, the same 15, 15. I'll mark here, and I'll mark here. These are these points, strike an arc. These are this point also, strike an arc. So where they meet, I'll place at this point, and I'm going to get this also. I'm going to get that too. I see that. And I'll come here too. I'll do the same thing. Mark here and here. I'll place it here. Strike an arc. Place it here. Strike another arc. So where they meet at this point, I'm going to close them up. Right, I'll come here too, I'll do the same thing, place it here, strike an arc, and strike an arc here. When they meet at this point, strike an arc this way. Then when they meet at this point also, I'll strike another arc, right? So with the same radius, I'll place at this point, and I'm going to do this. So in doing that, I'll just take my rule and I'll close it up. First of all, I'll close this point up. Right, then if you look at this, I'll also close it up too. Those are my front light. So let's just work with that first. Then let's see. So this is what we have here, right? So the next thing is you're going to project all these points, project them down. So let's project them down and see how it goes. And we're having this way. I'll project this straight down to the next point, straight down to the next point, straight down to this point here also, straight down to this, straight down to this, straight down, then to this, all the points here. I'll just take them down. It will be more easier for me, right? It will be more easier. Over this external point. This is the center line here. This is the center line. This down. This is what we are doing. All those points. So now draw this point down, right? Now, so this is what we have here. Now, if you watch this very well, you discover that to get to this center line, you're going to measure 58 from distance 12. From the base here, which is this base here, you measure 12. After the 12, then you measure 58 to get to that center. So let's do that. So from this point, I'm going to measure 12. I measure 12. And 0. So here is 12. Right? So I'll just draw an horizontal line at that point. So I'm starting from there. Then I'll measure 58. So 58 from here. This is 50. 58 here. Right? So this is 58 here. So I'm going to draw the center line there. So let's draw the center line there. And see. Long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long. Now after doing that, what do you notice? At that point, if you read what is being written here, it says 4 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, diameter 12, and surface is what? 24. So diameter 12 and the surface is what? 24. So it means that this is diameter of 24, right? And internal here diameter of what? 12. So I'm going to take my compass and measure. So with the help of my compass, I'll measure 12 first of all. 12 from here to here. This is 12, right? So I need 6 of it. This is 6, which is this. And at all those points, I'll place it here. And I'm going to draw a circle all through. This, I'll come here too. Same thing. This, and I'll come here too. The same thing. This, and here too. The same thing. This, right? Then the other one is 24, so I'll use 12 for it. So I'll place it here and I'll have 12. This is 12. That is yes. So I'll place it at this point. I'm going to get this. I'll place it here too. I'll get this. I'll place it here too. I'll get this. I'll place it here too. I'll get this. Now, so just like you measure from here to here 12, you also measure from here to here 12, and from here you do it all through, just like it is specified here, 12, 12, and what? 12 all through. So I'll do that. Now, we know that from here, from the center of this point to this end point here is 50, right? So I'm going to do the same thing here too. I'm going to measure what? 50. So let's do that and see. So how do we get that 50? Because we said earlier that diameter of this is 100. So we'll take 50 of it. I'm going to measure 50 on my meter rule. 50 on my meter rule. Right? And I'll place it at the center point here where the vertical and horizontal center line meet. I'll mark top 50 and I'll mark bottom 50. So I'll now use my square, my T-square, and just draw a line that will connect these 2 points together. Just like this. And I'll come here also. I'll draw a line that will connect these 2 points together, just like this. Now if you notice it, if I should section this, I will draw exactly what I have in my plan, but I will not section this, right? So it's left for you to section it if you want to. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to connect these two together, because from here to here is thickened, right? Let me show you. Let's go to that point. So from this point to this point is thickened, so I'm going to thicken it. From here to here is thickened, right? And also from this point also to this point is thickened, right? So in doing that, I am going to do everything I have here. So if you look at this diagram here now, right, I can take my compass from here. So I can take my compass here at this center line, right, and I'm going to measure from here. So I'll measure from here, which is 20, right from this point. Can you see it's 20 up and it's 20 down, right? So if I do that, I'll be having this. I'm going to come to this line and I'll mark 20 up and 20 down. You can see that? So in doing that, I'm going to be having, so this is 20 up and 20 down. So I'll use my rule. I'm going to draw a straight line this way. And I'll come here also, I'll draw a straight line this way. So it's just the same thing we are drawing, don't forget. It's the same figure. What the 20 up I'm actually trying to make you understand is this. This here is 40, just like we did earlier, which is the 40. So I'm measuring from the center, 20 up and 20 down. Now, due to the fact that this from here to here is thickened, due to the fact that from here to here is thickened, so I'm going to thicken here also on that 20 spot there. So if you look at the line, if I trace it up, down, from here, I'm coming down to this point, right? So it's thickened. So I'm going to thicken it up to this point. Right? Then I'll come here also. I'll just draw my faint line here. Also at this point too, I'm going to thicken it from here. This point. I'm taking it down to this point here. Right? So the next thing I will do is this. This other one here, I'll take my set square, then this line here, I'm going to thicken it to that line 20, right? So let's do that and see. So if I not touch this, to just come just above this here. So that's 1, 2. I'll do this here. So what did I do? I only moved it down. So I'll do the same thing for this one too. This line from here, I'll just take it down to touch here. And here also, take it down to touch here. So this is what we have. Then I'll close it up. I'm just replicating this diagram here. This is what I'm replicating here. This is what I'm replicating. I just drew this two and also this two. So I want to draw this now. 2. I'll do the same thing here. And I'll close it up. Okay. So I'll close it up. Close it up. And also let's see. Let's see. So I'll do the two things here. So this one will just like what I have here. Right? So I'll just use my, since it's very small, I'll just extend here a little bit. And extend here. And do the same thing here. And here too. And add the base too. And here too. Now I can just do the next one. Move this one, go down, then we're going to touch this, and this will come down, then we'll touch this, then I can easily close this up. Stop here, stop here, and this one too. And that's copying and pasting. So this following the same direction as the other one. So without the sectioning, this is how it is going to be like. I didn't section that part. So now without the sectioning, we're going to write this. You're just replicating what you have. So, and then that this is what we have. So, let's close this up. So, closing that up, I'll have this. Okay, now this is what you have. Following the same process we followed when we are drawing our our plan, we follow the same process here, right? The same way you consider the bolts and nuts, you do that, and the same way you got this, you do that. But what I'm just trying to make you understand is this is the section aspect of the plan. If I section this, whatever I did here, I also apply it here also. Is that okay? Now the next thing we want to draw here is to draw our end view. This end view here we want to draw, and we'll see how it will look like. So the same thing you do is for you to project all your lines to this point. So you project all your lines from here, you project it to this point. Right, you project all this point to this point, the big, and this also. All those points. So we'll get there and we'll know what we'll do. So let's first of all do this first of all. Now we said earlier that for this one, for we to get this, we need to draw our 45 degree at this point. So I'll give a space here so that it will be more easier for me to do. So if I have this way, then I need to draw an angle 45 degree from this point, either this point or any of those points, right? So let me just draw an angle 45 degrees from here at any given point. Let me just do this. It's not touch the main diagram. So from this point here, I'll draw an angle of what? 45 degrees, which will be this. So this is the angle 45 degrees. So what I will do is all this edge also, I'm going to project them to come and touch this point. Then also I'll come here too, I'll project it to come and touch this too. Right? Then the end of here also, I'll project it here too. So what I will do is, with the help of my set square, I'll bring this down. So bringing this down, I'm going to have this. So I have this. Stop here. Right? If I project here too, I'm going to have this. Which will be this. Right? So it means that I'm going to tick in these 2 points here. And I'll tick in here too. And also here. And also here too. Right, that is taken 15. You look at our diagram very well. Discover that this point here is 15, right? Now the next thing is I want to get the circle. So what will I do? From this edge here, I'll draw a straight line. So that's what I'm going to do. So from this edge here, from here, I'll draw a straight line. So that straight line, and I'm going to measure, let me bring it down so you see it closely. So I'm going to measure 80. So look at, from here to this center here is 80. From the ending to this center is 80. So I'm going to measure the 80 from that ending point. So let's see. So it's 80 here. So I'll go there. Now I'll draw a line that will be going to cut in through from there. There's a vertical line. Two, they're meeting at this point. So if I should adjust my compass from this point here to this line here, this line is the center of my circle, this center line. If I adjust it from here, long, short, and so on, where it meets with this line here, it's like my radius 50. So if I adjust it from here to this point here, which is my pulley, right, I'm going to have something like this. So stop here and have something like this. Line. Right, so now there's a diameter of 40 here. Let me do that first. Diameter of 40 at the center, diameter of 40, height 20. So I'll place it here and I'll draw, I'll place it here. I'm going to draw right? So and doing that, so I'll have this way, touching short at this point, right? The other one acting at an angle of 30, so using the help of my this, I'm going to get that an angle of 30. At this point, right? So almost at this end here. So because the pulley is going to cover it, I'm talking about this point here. It says the angle is 30 degrees to this point. So our zoom is coming to this point, right? Angle of 30. So just center line here. So in doing that, there is the web, which is this web here, right? And this here also. So I'm going to do that. So measure 6'6". I will go and touch there. Yes, 6'6" millimeter. That is 3. So measure the 3 from here and here. So I'll just adjust this. Yes, from here, stop here. Come here also, stop here. So let's close it up. So in doing that, the next thing I'll do here is now if you look at this pulley system here, it has 6 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so 5, 6. So I need to draw these holes in this point here. So what will I do? I will divide my circle into 6. So I place this way on my set square. I'm going to get something like this. The first one, right? And I'll turn it the other way around too. And then I'm going to get the second one, which is this. Right? So this holes is what we have there. So in doing that, it says the diameter of those holes is 64 pitch circle diameter. So I'm going to measure 32. So look at what they wrote here. It says 64 PCD. That's where this hole are placed. So I'm going to measure 32. PCD means pitch circle diameter. So I'm going to measure 32. And I'll place at the center. So where this line intersects with your division of the circle, that is where it will be. So what is the diameter of the circle? It says they are 16 diameter. Alright, so I use 8. So I'm measuring 8 on my meter rule. 8, 8, 8. I will have this. This will be somewhere around here. This will be completed. This will be completed. This will be completed. This will be completed. So now in this case I'm going to cover this up. Right, so the rest will not show. That means this will be stopping somewhere around here. We have this here. We have this here. So now we have successfully drawn this out. We drawn this out. And the next thing we'll do here will be, so we have told that the thickness between the wheel is 3 millimeter. So if I measure 3 millimeter my meter rule, then I'll just take my compass and I'll just close it up. So this is what I'm going to have. So the rest thing is just for you to copy any other thing. We've already successfully put in all the components together, right? So if you found the video helpful, please don't forget to click on the subscribe button. Now look at this point. From here to this center here is 80. From the ending to this center is 80. So I'm going to measure the 80 from that ending point. So let's see. This is the 80 here. So I'll go there. Now I'll draw a line that will be that's going to cut in through from there. There's a vertical line. To the meeting at this point. So if I should adjust my compass from this point here to this line here, this line is the center of my circle, this center line. If I adjust it from here, long, short, and so on, where it meets with this line here is like my radius 50. So if I adjust it from here to this point here, which is my pulley, right, I'm going to have something like this. So stop here and have something like this, front line, right? So now there's a diameter of 40 here. Let me do that first. Diameter of 40 at the center. Diameter of 40. Height 20. So I'll place it here and I'll draw. Sorry. I'll place it here. And I'm going to draw. Right? So I'm doing that, so I'll have this here, touching short at this point, right? The other one acting at an angle of 30, so using the help of my this, I'm going to get that an angle of 30. This point, right? So almost touch at this end here. So because the pulley is going to cover it, I'm talking about this point here. Says the angle is 30 degrees to this point. So our zoom is coming to this point, right? Angle of 30. So just center line here. So in doing that, there is a web, which is this web here, right? And this here also. I'm going to do that. So measure 6'6". Oh, go and touch there. Yes, 6 millimeter. That is 3. So measure the 3 from here and here. So let's adjust this. Yes, from here, stop here. Come here also, stop here. So let's close it up. So in doing that, the next thing I'll do here is now if you look at this pulley system here, it has 6 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so 5, 6. So I need to draw these holes in this point here. So what will I do? I will divide my circle into 6. So if I place this way on my set square, I'm going to get something like this. The first one, right? And I'll turn it the other way around too. And then I'm going to get the second one, which is this. Right? So those holes is what we have there. So in doing that, it says the diameter of those holes is 64 pitch circle diameter. So I'm going to measure 32. So look at what they wrote here. It says 64 PCD. That's where this hole are placed. So I'm going to measure 32. PCD means pitch circle diameter. So I'm going to measure 32. And I'll place at the center. So where this line intersects with your division of the circle, that is where it will be. So what is the diameter of the circle? It says they are 16 diameter. Alright, so I'll use 8. So I'm measuring 8 on my meter rule. 8, 8, 8. I will have this. This will be somewhere around here. This will be completed. This will be completed. This will be completed. This will be completed. So now in this case, I'm going to cover this up. Right, so the rest will not show. That means this will be stopping somewhere around here. We have this here. We have this here. So now we have successfully drawn this out. Drawn this out. And the next thing we'll do here will be, so we are told that the thickness between the wheel is 3 millimeter. So I measure 3 millimeter on my meter rule. Then I'll just take my compass and I'll just close it up. So this is what I'm going to have. So the rest thing is just for you to copy any other thing. We've already successfully put in all the components together, right? So if you found the video helpful, please don't forget to click on the subscribe button